down by 17, come
Yep.
all the way back,
Mm-hmm.
outscore them 28-3 to take an 8-point lead. They score the last 11. It was a game of streaks.
Mm-hmm.
Came down to a 4th and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the percentages of converting that is minuscule, 10%, maybe something like that. So, just take us through the game. I just point out the 4th and 14 because obviously that was the play of the game, but there were a lot of twists and turns. So, what is your take across the board?
Um, Tough one. And you know how much I can't stand Tallahassee. I take that game very seriously. But I remember just a week ago in the same spot, being very serious about this game, being one of those people that didn't take it um, lightly. That this team, whenever this team, as in Tallahassee, when they played better teams, they stepped up. And they line up against North Carolina, they step up and beat them. They lined up against Clemson, which in some people's eyes is a bad team. They took them to the brink on the road. Okay, and both of those two big games, in their opinion, were on the road. Well, now they have one of their final big games at home on Senior Day with the Miami team that's on fire coming in. And I was very nervous about this game, Mark. I was angry at the fact that you have people in our athletic department who were seemingly just thinking we're going to blow them out because we did it last year. Okay, and not it felt as though we didn't really prepare for Jordan Travis. It seemed like we spent the whole time preparing for Milton because we never really stopped QB run or RPO scheme when it came to Jordan Travis. Um, and it was infuriating, Mark. Very, very infuriating to watch that game, especially as a defensive guy. You sit and you look at the scheme and the way that we were lined up. We're outflanked. What that means is we have more people to one side than the other, as opposed to being in a position where someone can cover both. We were in a position where, like, no, you can only cover this based on your alignment and assignment. That's what the term outflanked is. And majority of the time, what that means is the short side of the field is loaded and the field side is open. What that means is we had more people to one side, which was the short side, and we had the least amount of our numbers out of 11 to the field side on a continual basis. All right, especially against the run. And a team that has been showing very lackluster open field tackling for 10 weeks now decided to continue to go out there in that alignment, and it resulted in a team like Tallahassee, who's not good, that is very well coached. And Mike Norvell, no, he's not a home run hire, but he is a better head coach than Manny Diaz is. Okay. And we allowed them to hang in. And not only hang in there, Mark, they had a big jump out. One of the other things that stood out to me is how undisciplined this Miami Hurricane team is. And when you have leadership, one of the biggest things you have to do is be able to channel young men's emotions. Yes, you're going to have butterflies in your stomach. And sometimes those butterflies equate to anger. And you just want to go out there and hit anything that moves and slap and punch and move. It's about being able to channel that properly into doing your job at such a high level that you exude that kind of energy with how you play and how you make plays on the football field. Not how you push a guy after the whistle has been blown, not how you jump off sides, not how you're holding, not how you don't turn around and look and locate the ball at defensive back, not how you go make a hit out of bounds or you hit the QB after he's let the ball go. Okay, it just doesn't make sense to me how we continue to allow this to build up and build up and build up, and then now it's spilled out to the sides. And yes, you may say we get what we want as far as Manny's more than likely going to be done. Maybe he's done before the weekends. Maybe he gets into the end of the season. We lose an athletic director. Okay. But think about the fact that we didn't have to get to this point. All of those things could still have happened if we do things the right way. And I spoke about departing ways from Manny Diaz a couple weeks ago, and I said that we should put someone like um, Jess Simpson, who was a high school head coach, as your interim head coach at the bye week, so that you would have time to kind of rebuild and kind of pull things together as a program for the latter half of the season, knowing he's not going to be your head coach. You can get a head start on the interview process, but we didn't go in that direction. So it turned around and came back and bite us in the behind with a loss to a rival team who can now go on to make a bowl game because the University of Florida is not doing well right now either, even though they get them at Gainesville. So who knows how that game's going to go. Dan Mullen may not even be their coach. So now you give a team the opportunity to break your win streak against them, number one. Number two, they continue to fight on to get a bowl game. Number three, you had a big win on national TV on senior day with a bunch of big time recruits being there, seeing how piss poor of a program the University of Miami was putting out there. Okay. And fourthly, you give them an opportunity uh, uh, to kind of bite back at you for all of the conversations they were having, talking at each other through the media, being interviewed with the whole fake news and all that kind of stuff. Or that Manny Diaz was not fake news, fake momentum, excuse me, is what Coach Diaz was saying about them having a lot of momentum this offseason in recruiting. So yeah, I took that one hard. I took that one hard. I may or may not have punched a couple walls. I may or may not have said some four letter words, but it is what it is when it comes to that. Unfortunately and fortunately, when a game is done, you put it behind you. It's over. There's nothing else we can do about that. Um, Mike Norvell put the last knife in the back that we needed. You got to see now some good things you saw in this game. Tyler Van Dyke, Jalen Knighton is just a playmaker. Woo! I still don't get why we're ramming a 178-pound dude up the gut on 3rd and 1, but I'm not there. And our offensive coordinator is starting to get a little agitated with that kind of stuff because he's calling fans armchair quarterbacks and fan coaches because we're calling them out on not using your players in the proper way. There's nowhere in the world you have a scat back like that and you just want to use him like a power back and then wonder why the two backs before him are out with injuries if you overload one back when you got 5 of them. Now we only have 3. And if you keep doing that, we might only have 2 because you just don't want to use them. It's infuriating, Mark, to continue to sit and watch this. And the only thing that brings peace to my heart is to know that with this move at athletic director, and hopefully with going on with Gino Torretta and Alonzo Highsmith and the change at head coach, is that we won't have to see this kind of stuff anymore. We won't see this kind of lackluster, undisciplined, lack of open field tackling, lack of use of player, lack of communication, lack of fight, and want to from a coaching staff. And most importantly, Mark, we will be able to rebuild our relationships in recruiting with our local high school coaches so that we can start to get the big time recruits to buy back into Miami, not due to COVID-19, but due to the fact that the University of Miami is a business decision again. And they don't have to go to Tuscaloosa. They don't have to go to Gainesville. They don't have to go to Athens, Georgia to be a part of a football program that's going to make them who they should be, and that is a first or second round draft pick, so that they can go ahead and change the lives of their family.